She called me ugly in front of 15 guests and left me with a $2,347 bill. Be grateful I even dated you, she sneered before turning away and kissing another man. By the next morning, she had 89 missed calls on her phone log, but not a single one was from me. While she was out celebrating, I was opening files she didn't even know existed. My name is Everett Sinclair. I'm 43, VP of Operations at a national logistics company. I've been married to my wife, Sienna, for 15 years. She turned 40 last Tuesday. We have 2 kids, Isaac, 13, and Harper, 9. I thought we had a solid life. I was wrong. Sienna insisted on celebrating her birthday at Harborview, a high-end seafood place overlooking the marina. She wanted 15 of her influencer friends there, the usual lifestyle blogger crowd. I booked the private room, ordered champagne, arranged everything exactly how she wanted. She walked in wearing a red dress I'd never seen before, barely glancing at me as she floated around greeting her guests. They posed for photos, laughed too loudly, and drank expensive wine I hadn't approved or ordered. I sat at the head of the table like a decorative prop. Dinner went smoothly until dessert. Sienna stood up, wine glass in hand, already tipsy. Her friends fell silent, phones up, recording. I want to thank everyone for coming, my wife announced, slipping into that fake, polished tone she uses online. Especially my husband, Everett. She gave a vague wave in my direction without actually looking at me. I lifted my glass and smiled. You know, Sienna continued, it takes a special man to support a woman like me, someone who knows his place. She paused. Look at him. Really. Look. The room seemed to chill. I slowly lowered my glass. He's not exactly attractive, is he? She said with a laugh. A few of her friends chuckled awkwardly. That receding hairline, those dad jeans. But he has his uses, I suppose. My throat tightened. I thought about Isaac asking me last week why Mom was always on her phone, about Harper, who had stopped running to show Sienna her drawings. Be grateful I even dated you, Everett, my wife said clearly, savoring every word. Be grateful I married you. Someone actually clapped. Another guest laughed out loud. Then Sienna walked over to Preston Gallagher, her business associate, seated 3 chairs down, and kissed him full on the mouth. Not a quick, drunken peck, a performance. Now that's a real man, she announced. She grabbed her purse, hooked her arm through Preston's, and walked toward the door. All 15 guests followed them out, leaving behind half-eaten desserts and empty glasses. A server came over with the check, $2,347, and set it down in front of me with an apologetic look. I'm so sorry, sir, she murmured. I didn't say a word. I pulled out my card, paid, added a 30% tip, and took a photo of the receipt, not out of rage, not for immediate revenge, but because I needed to remember the exact moment I stopped pretending everything was okay. I drove home in silence. The house was dark, the kids asleep, the babysitter gone. I went upstairs to my office and opened my laptop. In the corner of the screen was a small gray icon Sienna had never noticed. I clicked it. A black window appeared, password protected. I typed in the code. The interface loaded. Clean folders labeled with dates, names, locations, years of documentation. I uploaded the restaurant receipt and cross-referenced it with 6 months of cell phone data. Preston Gallagher's name surfaced 17 times, matched with Sienna's GPS coordinates, hotels, restaurants, a beach house in Delaware. I opened another folder. Bank statements. Cash withdrawals Sienna could never properly explain. Credit card charges from jewelry stores, $50,000 transferred from our joint account into her personal one. Then I checked the college fund folder. Empty. The $183,000 that was supposed to be for Isaac and Harper's future was gone. Traced to a shell LLC registered under Preston's mother's maiden name. My children's future siphoned away. I leaned back and stared at the screen. Still no anger, just a cold, clear understanding. Sienna thought she'd married a simple man, someone who would stay quiet and never push back. She had no idea who I really was. That night, I slept better than I had in months. No tossing, no checking my phone, no wondering where Sienna was. Just 8 solid hours of dreamless sleep, the kind you get when you finally stop lying to yourself. Peace comes quickly once the denial is gone. My alarm went off at 6 a.m. I showered, put on my usual work clothes, and went downstairs. Isaac and Harper were already at the kitchen table eating cereal. Our babysitter, Mrs. Chen, looked drained. "Your wife never came home, Mr. Sinclair," she said quietly, glancing at the kids. "Should I be worried?" "No need," I replied calmly. "She's staying with a friend. Thank you for staying overnight. I'll transfer the extra hours today." Mrs. Chen nodded, gathered her things, and left. Isaac watched me over his bowl, his 13-year-old brain already piecing things together. "Dad, is Mom okay?" he asked. "She's fine," I said, pouring myself coffee. "Finish up. We leave for school in 30 minutes. Harper looked up from her cereal. "Daddy, why didn't Mommy say goodnight last night?" I knelt by her chair and gently pushed her hair away from her face. "Sometimes grown-ups have complicated nights, sweetheart," I told her. "But you and Isaac are my priority, always." She nodded, not fully understanding, but trusting me anyway. After I dropped them off at school, I drove downtown to my office, 43rd floor, corner view, overlooking the harbor. My assistant, Jennifer, handed me my coffee and schedule as I walked in. "Morning, Everett," she said. "You've got the quarterly logistics meeting at 10, then lunch with the Memphis distribution team." "Thanks, Jen." I went into my office and closed the door. My personal phone lay face down on the desk. I'd silenced it before bed. Now I flipped it over. 89 missed calls, all from Sienna, 43 text messages, 27 voicemails. I didn't open a single one. Instead, I forwarded everything to a secure cloud folder, tagged with timestamps, and then went back to my normal morning routine. At 9:45, Jennifer knocked on my door. "Everett, your wife is on the office line," she said. "She says it's urgent." "Tell her I'm in meetings all day," I replied without looking up from my computer. "And Jennifer, if she calls again, same answer." "Understood." The logistics meeting went smoothly. I presented our Q3 efficiency gains, signed off on 2 new distribution centers, and approved equipment upgrades in Atlanta. Business as usual. Around noon, my personal phone rang again. Sienna. I declined the call and opened my lunch. A moment later, my work phone buzzed. A text popped up from my younger brother, Nathan, who works as a private investigator in the city. "Got your email this morning. Started background on Preston Gallagher. You were right. This goes deep. Call me tonight." I replied with a thumbs up, then deleted the message. At 2 p.m., Jennifer appeared in my doorway, looking uneasy. "Everett, I'm sorry, but your wife is in the lobby," she said. "Security called. She's demanding to see you." I leaned back in my chair and steepled my fingers. "Tell security to let her know I'm unavailable. If she refuses to leave, remind her this is private property and she's not allowed up here without an appointment." Jennifer hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Completely." She left, and 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Text from Sienna, all caps. "Why are you doing this? Answer me." I took a screenshot, added it to the evidence folder, and went back to work. By 5 p.m., when I finally left the office, my missed calls count had climbed to 112. The voicemails swung wildly between rage, guilt-tripping, and desperate pleading. The texts followed the same pattern. "Everett, we need to talk. Stop being childish. You're overreacting. Please just call me back. I'm sorry, okay? Can we please talk?" I read each message like I'd read a shipping report. Calm, detached, methodical. Then I filed everything away and drove to Nathan's office across town. He worked out of a converted loft above a bail bonds place. Piles of files spread over a battered metal desk. When I walked in, he stood and shook my hand. "Ev," he said. "Man, you weren't exaggerating. Preston Gallagher is a real piece of work." "Tell me," I said, sitting down. Nathan slid a folder across to me. "Married, 2 kids. Wife's name is Diana," he began. "She has no clue. He's got 3 other women on rotation, all convinced they're special. Your wife is just the current favorite." My jaw tightened. "What else?" "The LLC you traced, that's just one branch of a larger scam," Nathan continued. "He's been running this con for years. He targets married women with access to money, persuades them to liquidate assets, then runs everything through shell companies. Once the accounts are drained, he vanishes." "How much has he stolen?" I asked. Nathan flipped a page. "Best estimate? North of $2 million, from 6 different women over 8 years. I leaned back, letting that sink in. "So, Sienna's not special," I said slowly. "She's just a mark." Exactly, Nathan said, closing the folder. What do you want to do? I looked at my brother, the ex-Marine, now PI, the one person I trusted without reservation. I want everything, I said quietly. Every transaction, every woman, every lie. And I want contact information for Diana Gallagher. Nathan gave a grim little smile. Already got it. Check your email. Good man. My phone buzzed again. Sienna, call number 118. I declined and drove home to my kids. Elena Martinez had been our nanny for 3 years. Quiet, dependable. The kind of woman who loved my children like they were her own. She'd come from Guatemala, sent money back to her mother, and never once missed a day of work. Thursday morning, she asked if she could speak with me in private. Mr. Sinclair, Elena said nervously, glancing over at Isaac and Harper, who were watching TV. I need to show you something. I've been scared too, but after Tuesday night, I can't stay quiet anymore. She pulled a small spiral notebook from her purse, the cheap kind you'd find at a dollar store. Her hands trembled as she gave it to me. I've been writing things down, she said softly, for 2 years. The things Mrs. Sinclair says to the children when you're not home, the men who come to the house. I was afraid I'd lose my job, but those babies deserve better. I opened the notebook. Her handwriting was neat and careful, every entry dated and detailed. March 15th. Mrs. Sinclair told Isaac he was stupid like his father when he couldn't finish his math homework. He cried for an hour. June 3rd, Harper showed her mother a drawing. Mrs. Sinclair said it was ugly and threw it away. Harper didn't draw for 2 weeks. August 12th. A man named Preston came to the house at 2 p.m. They went upstairs for 3 hours. I had to keep the children outside. Page after page, 24 months of notes. My wife's cruelty laid out in simple, factual lines. My hands tightened around the notebook. Elena, why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked. I was scared, sir, she whispered. Mrs. Sinclair said if I told you anything, she'd call immigration on me. My papers are good, but I was still afraid. I looked at the woman who had been shielding my children while being threatened herself. Elena, you're not losing your job, I said, and I need you to testify about what you've seen. Can you do that? She nodded, tears gathering in her eyes. For Isaac and Harper, yes. Thank you. I went to my safe, took out an envelope with $5,000 in cash, and handed it to her. This is for your courage, I told her, and your salary just doubled. Elena tried to refuse, but I insisted. You protected my kids when their own mother wouldn't, I said. That's worth everything. After she left, I called Nathan. I need you to secure a witness, I said. Our nanny, she's got 2 years of documented emotional abuse and infidelity. On it, Nathan replied. Also, I spoke with Diana Gallagher. She wants to meet you. When? Tomorrow, neutral location. She's bringing her own evidence. I looked down at Elena's notebook lying open on my desk. The walls were closing in on Sienna and Preston. They just didn't realize it yet. My phone buzzed again. Sienna, call number 147. I declined and went to make dinner for my kids. Saturday morning, I took Isaac and Harper to the park. Normal dad stuff. Pushing Harper on the swings, tossing a football with Isaac. On the surface, it was an ordinary morning, but in the glove compartment of my car was an envelope that changed everything. 3 weeks earlier, I'd taken both kids in for what I described as routine checkups. Our pediatrician, an old college friend, had quietly collected DNA samples. No questions, no judgment. The results had come in yesterday. Isaac, 99.9% probability of paternity. My son. Harper, 0% probability of paternity. Not my daughter. Biologically, anyway. I'd sat in my car for 20 minutes after reading that second line of the report, staring at the page like sheer willpower might alter the numbers. But numbers don't lie. Harper, with her bright smile, her messy ponytails, her love for drawing, wasn't mine by blood. She was Preston Gallagher's. The affair had been going on for at least 10 years. Sienna had gotten pregnant, told me Harper was mine, and I never doubted her. Why would I? People always said Harper had my eyes, my temperament, all lies. But here's what Sienna never understood. Biology doesn't make a father. I'd been there for Harper's first steps, her first words, every bad dream and scraped knee. I'd braided her hair, read her bedtime stories, taught her how to ride a bike. She was my daughter. A piece of paper didn't change that. What it did change was custody. Now I had proof Sienna had committed paternity fraud. Proof she'd lied for almost a decade. Proof she hadn't just stolen money. She'd stolen the truth. "Dad," Harper called from the swings. "Push me higher." I walked over and gave her a gentle push, watching her laugh as she soared up. "You got it, sweetheart." Isaac came up beside me, eyes serious. "Dad, something's wrong," he said. "You've been different since Tuesday." My son was too observant for his own good. I knelt so we were eye level. "Isaac, your mom and I are having serious problems," I told him. "But you and Harper are safe. I promise you that." "Is she coming back?" he asked quietly. "I don't know," I answered honestly. "But no matter what happens, you two are my priority. Always." Isaac nodded slowly, then went back to the climbing structure. That afternoon, I met Diana Gallagher at a coffee shop in the next town over. She was 41, still attractive but clearly worn down, with 2 young kids of her own in elementary school. "Mr. Sinclair," Diana said as she sat down across from me. "Thank you for meeting me." "Call me Everett," I replied, "and thank you for coming." She slid a folder across the table. "Preston's been doing this for 8 years, she said. "Your wife is number 7. He targets married women with assets, seduces them, convinces them to liquidate funds, then moves on." "I know," I said. "My brother's a PI. He uncovered most of it." Diana's jaw tightened. "What you might not know," she added, "is that he has another child with woman number 4, a daughter he's never met, never supported." My stomach dropped. Harper. I took the DNA results out of my bag and slid them to her. "Just confirmed," I said. "Harper is his biologically. She's mine in every other way." Diana read the report and looked back up at me, her expression hardening with resolve. "We need to take him down," she said. "Together." "Agreed," I answered. "What do you have?" "Financial records, emails, text messages," she said. "And I'm filing for divorce on Monday. I want full custody, and I want him charged with fraud." I held out my hand. "Then let's make sure he loses everything," I said. She shook it firmly. "Starting now." Sienna made her move on Thanksgiving. She called my parents in tears, telling them I'd locked her out and turned the kids against her. Said she just wanted to see her family for the holiday. My mother, God bless her, believed every word. She called me Wednesday night. "Everett, honey, Sienna says you won't let her see Isaac and Harper for Thanksgiving," Mom said gently. "I know you're having problems, but it's family time." "Mom, there's a lot you don't know," I said. "Then come to dinner tomorrow, both of you," she insisted. "We'll talk like adults." I paused, thinking, then felt a slow smile tug at my mouth. "All right," I said. "We'll be there at 2. I called Nathan immediately. "Change of plans," I told him. "Thanksgiving just turned into evidence collection day." "What do you need?" he asked. "Meet me at Mom and Dad's tomorrow," I said. 1:30. Bring Diana and everything you've got." Thursday afternoon, I pulled up to my parents' house with Isaac and Harper. My father opened the door. Retired Army colonel, still built like he could run drills before breakfast. "Son," Dad said, gripping my hand. "Your mother's worried." "I know, Dad," I replied. "That's about to change." Sienna was already inside, playing the victim to perfection. Red eyes, crumpled tissue, clinging to my sister Rachel. When she saw me, her expression flipped to hopeful. "Everett, thank God," she said. "We need to talk." "We will," I said calmly. After dinner. The meal was thick with tension. Sienna kept trying to touch my hand, force small talk, smile at the kids. Isaac and Harper stayed glued to my side, barely acknowledging her. At 4 p.m., the doorbell rang. I stood up. "That'll be for me," I said. I opened the door to find Nathan standing there with Diana Gallagher and Catherine Stone, the attorney I'd hired 2 days earlier. "What's going on?" my mother asked nervously from the dining room. "Family meeting," I said. "Everyone, please sit." I set a thick folder on the dining table. My parents, Rachel, and my brother Scott stared at it. "Sienna has been having an affair with a man named Preston Gallagher for 10 years, I began, keeping my tone level. "She stole $183,000 from our kids' college funds, and she's been verbally abusing Isaac and Harper for years." Sienna went pale. "Everett, what are you—" "This is Diana Gallagher," I continued, gesturing to Diana. "Preston's wife. And this is Catherine Stone, my attorney. Diana stepped forward. Your daughter-in-law has been sleeping with my husband, she said. He's a con artist who has defrauded 7 women. Sienna is number 7. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father's jaw clenched. That's not all, I said. I took out the DNA results and placed them on the table. Harper isn't my biological daughter, I said quietly. She's Preston's. Sienna has been lying about it for 9 years. Silence slammed into the room. My father rose slowly, his colonel's command voice returning. Sienna, he said, is this true? Sienna opened her mouth, but no words came out. Get out of my house, my father said coldly. Now. Now, he thundered. Sienna grabbed her purse and bolted for the door, crying. No one moved to stop her. My mother turned to me, eyes full of heartbreak. Everett, why didn't you tell us sooner? Because I needed you to see it yourselves, I said gently. So when this goes to court, you'll understand why I'm fighting. Dad put a hand on my shoulder. We're with you, son, he said. Whatever you need. Harper climbed into my lap, trembling. Daddy, I'm scared, she whispered. I held her tight. I know, sweetheart, I said, but you're safe now. On Monday morning, I got the call I'd been expecting. Principal Anderson from Riverside Academy, the private school Isaac and Harper attended. Mr. Sinclair, we need to discuss a situation, he said carefully. Several parents have raised concerns about Mrs. Sinclair's position on the PTA board. What kind of concerns? I asked, though I already had a guess. The videos from the restaurant incident have been circulating, he said. Parents are uncomfortable with her representing the school. The restaurant had security cameras, and somehow that footage had made its way into the right inboxes. I had a good guess who helped with that. Nathan never did anything halfway. There's an emergency PTA meeting tonight at 7, Principal Anderson continued. Your presence might be helpful. I showed up at 6:45. The school auditorium was packed, more than 200 parents. Sienna sat in the front row, chin lifted, trying to project confidence. She hadn't noticed me slip in at the back. Principal Anderson called the meeting to order. We're here to discuss the PTA board and some recent concerns, he said. A woman in the third row stood up, Margaret Chin, a doctor's wife with 3 kids at Riverside. I'll be direct, she said. Sienna Sinclair publicly humiliated her husband at a restaurant, on camera, in front of parents from this very school. That is not the kind of person who should represent us. A low wave of murmurs rolled through the room. Another parent stood. She also posted about it online, bragging. That shows a complete lack of judgment. Sienna tried to recover. That was a private matter between my husband and me. Nothing is private when you record it for your influencer friends, Margaret cut in sharply. Some of us saw the videos. What you did was cruel and intentional. A man in the back row rose, David Park, corporate attorney, 2 daughters enrolled at Riverside. I've also heard troubling rumors about financial misconduct, he said. Is it true you misused your children's education funds? The room went dead still. Every eye turned on Sienna. That's a lie, Sienna snapped, her voice climbing. My husband is trying to destroy me. Mr. Sinclair, would you like to respond? Principal Anderson asked, spotting me. I stood and walked down the aisle to the front. Several parents shifted in their seats, watching. I didn't come here to destroy anyone, I said evenly. I came to protect my children. I faced the crowd. Yes, my wife took money from our kids' college funds, I said. Yes, I have proof. And yes, that proof is already with my attorney and the authorities. Then I turned to Sienna. What you did at that restaurant wasn't private, I told her. You chose an audience. Now you're seeing the consequences. Margaret stood again. I moved that we remove Sienna Sinclair from the PTA board, effective immediately. Seconded, 3 parents called out at once. Principal Anderson looked uncomfortable, but resigned. All in favor? He asked. Almost every hand in the auditorium went up. The motion passes, Anderson said quietly. Mrs. Sinclair, I'm afraid you're removed from the board. Sienna stood, shaking with rage and humiliation. You're all going to regret this, she spat. No, Margaret replied calmly. You're going to regret teaching our children that cruelty doesn't have consequences. Sienna grabbed her bag and stormed out. Not one person followed her. After the meeting, several parents came up to me. Everett, we had no idea what you were going through, Margaret said. If you need character references for custody, call me. 5 more parents offered the same. I thanked them, took down their contact information, and headed home. Isaac was still awake, waiting on the couch. "Dad, kids at school are talking," he said, "saying things about Mom." "I know, buddy," I answered. "It's going to be rough for a while." "Is she really a bad person?" he asked quietly. I sat beside him. "She made very bad choices," I said gently. "But you and Harper are good people. That's what matters." He nodded slowly. "I'm glad you're my dad." Those 5 words made everything I was doing feel worth it. Sunday afternoon, while Isaac and Harper were at my parents' house, I sat in my office finishing a project I'd started 3 weeks earlier. A digital vault, encrypted and time-locked, holding everything my kids would need to understand when they were older. The folders were simple: videos, documents, timeline, evidence. I recorded a 30-minute video, looking straight into the camera. "Isaac, Harper, if you're watching this, you're 18 years old," I began. "Old enough to know the truth about what happened to our family." I laid everything out calmly, like a report. The affair, the stolen money, the paternity fraud. I showed documents, played audio clips, pulled up bank statements. Not to turn them against their mother, but so they would never be confused about what really happened. "Harper, sweetheart," I said into the camera, "you're going to learn something hard in this vault. Biologically, I'm not your father. Preston Gallagher is. But biology doesn't define a family. I chose to be your dad every single day. I chose you, and I'll keep choosing you for the rest of my life." I included Elena's notebook, the DNA results, every shred of evidence from the case. Then I added something else. Good memories, photos of birthdays, vacations, soccer games, videos of Harper's dance recital, of Isaac's basketball tournaments. "I don't want you to only remember the pain," I told them. "I want you to remember that your dad fought for you, protected you, and loved you enough to tell you the truth when you were ready to hear it." I encrypted the vault with a dual key system. One key would unlock automatically on Isaac's 18th birthday, the other on Harper's. Nathan and Catherine each held a key, with written instructions to deliver them on those dates. "Mr. Sinclair," Elena called from downstairs, "the children are back." I closed the laptop, backed everything up to 3 separate secure servers, and went down. Harper sprinted toward me. "Daddy, Grandma made cookies." "Did you save me any?" I asked, lifting her up. "Maybe," she giggled. Isaac lingered in the doorway, watching me silently. That night, after Harper was in bed, he knocked on my office door. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always, buddy. Come in." He sat down, fidgeting with his fingers. "Some kids at school are saying things about Mom and about Harper," he said. "That she's not really your daughter." My chest tightened. "What do you think?" I asked. "I think biology doesn't matter," he said firmly. "Harper's my sister. You're her dad. That's it." Pride swelled in my chest. "You're absolutely right," I said. "And Isaac, when all of this is over, when you're both older, I'll explain everything. But right now, I just need you to trust me." "I do, Dad," Isaac said. "I always will." After he went to bed, I stayed alone in my dark office. The vault was finished, the evidence organized, every answer waiting for the day my kids would want the truth. But tonight, they didn't need answers. They needed their father, and that I could give them. Dr. Patricia Taylor showed up at our house on a Tuesday morning. Court-appointed psychologist, 25 years of experience, and a reputation for being brutally honest in custody evaluations. "Mr. Sinclair," she said, shaking my hand, "I'll be spending about 4 hours here today, observing you with the children, asking questions, evaluating the home environment." "Whatever you need," I replied. She started with a walkthrough of the house, checked the kids' rooms, noted the tidy spaces, the shared homework area I'd set up in the dining room, the family photos lining the walls. "Tell me about a typical day with Isaac and Harper," Dr. Taylor said, pen in hand. I walked her through our routine: breakfast together, school drop-off, after-school activities, dinner, homework, bedtime. "And when Mrs. Sinclair lived here," she asked, "how was it different?" "She was gone a lot," I said. "Business trips, influencer events, girls' nights. I handled most of the parenting even before the separation." Dr. Taylor jotted more notes. "The children's teachers submitted reports," she said. "Both have maintained good grades throughout this process. That's unusual in high-conflict divorces. I've done everything I can to keep their lives stable. I said. She interviewed Isaac first while I waited in the kitchen, unable to hear anything. 45 minutes later, he came out looking relaxed. "She's nice," he said. Asked about school, basketball, how I'm doing. Harper went next. Only 30 minutes. She emerged holding a drawing she'd made. "I drew our family," she told Dr. Taylor proudly. "That's Daddy, that's Isaac, that's me, and that's our dog we're getting." "You're getting a dog?" Dr. Taylor asked with a small smile. "Daddy promised," Harper said seriously, "when everything calms down." After the kids went outside to play, Dr. Taylor sat with me at the kitchen table. "Mr. Sinclair," she said, "I've reviewed all of the evidence, Elena's journal, the financial records, the DNA results. I've also interviewed your wife." "And?" I asked carefully. "Mrs. Sinclair presents with narcissistic personality traits, limited empathy toward the children, and a troubling lack of remorse for her behavior," Dr. Taylor said. "She spent most of our session focused on herself, her image, her reputation, how she's been wronged." She glanced at her notes. "In contrast, your children show strong attachment to you, age-appropriate emotional development despite the circumstances, and consistent statements about feeling safe in your care." "What will your recommendation be?" I asked. She looked me straight in the eye. "Primary physical custody to you," she said, "with limited supervised visitation for their mother. Isaac and Harper need stability, consistency, and a parent who prioritizes them. That's you, Mr. Sinclair." Relief washed through me. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," she replied, standing. "I'm just reporting what I observed. My official report will be filed with the court by Friday. Be prepared for Mrs. Sinclair's attorney to challenge it. They always do." After she left, I called Catherine. "The evaluation went well," I told her. "She's recommending primary custody." "Excellent," Catherine said. "That's the last piece we needed. Court date is in 2 weeks from Thursday. We're going to win this, Everett." That night, I made the kids' favorite, spaghetti and meatballs. We ate together, laughing at Isaac's terrible joke about a basketball playing octopus. For a while, it felt like a normal family dinner. After they went to bed, I checked my phone. A message from Diana. "Preston's been arrested. Fraud charges, 7 counts. He's looking at 15 years. I typed back, "Good, 1 down." Then I went upstairs, checked on both kids sleeping peacefully, and let myself feel something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. We were going to be okay. 3 weeks later, I stood in Judge Harold Patterson's courtroom for the final custody hearing. Catherine Stone had flown in from Seattle just for this. She had a reputation that made opposing counsel nervous, and I could see why. She radiated quiet control. Sienna sat on the other side of the aisle, thinner, in a conservative navy dress that screamed, "Lawyer approved." Preston was already in federal custody awaiting trial. Diana had filed for divorce and full custody of their kids. His little empire was falling apart. "Your Honor," Catherine began, standing tall, "we are seeking permanent full custody of Isaac and Harper Sinclair for their father, with supervised visitation only for Mrs. Sinclair." Sienna's attorney, James Mitchell, rose quickly. "Your Honor, my client has made mistakes," he said, "but she is still their mother. She deserves meaningful time with her children." Judge Patterson, a man in his late 60s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense reputation, peered over his glasses. "Mr. Mitchell, I've reviewed the file," he said. "The mistakes you mention include paternity fraud, theft of college funds, documented emotional abuse, and repeated adultery. Those aren't mistakes. Those are choices." Mitchell tried again. "Mrs. Sinclair has started therapy, Your Honor. She's taking steps to change." "She enrolled in therapy 2 weeks ago," Catherine cut in smoothly. "After 10 years of harmful behavior. That's not rehabilitation, Your Honor. That's damage control." She stepped toward the bench with a folder. "We have testimony from 17 witnesses, teachers, coaches, parents from the children's school." She handed over a stack of statements. "All describe Mr. Sinclair as the primary caregiver and a consistently involved father. All describe Mrs. Sinclair as absent, volatile, or dismissive." Then Catherine produced Elena's notebook. 2 years of documented verbal and emotional abuse," she said. "Isaac being called stupid, Harper having her artwork thrown away and mocked. Both children developed anxiety that has significantly improved in their father's sole care." Judge Patterson read several entries, his expression darkening. Mrs. Sinclair, he said, looking up. Do you dispute these accounts? Sienna stood shakily. I never meant to hurt them. I was under a lot of stress. You told your 9-year-old daughter her drawings were ugly, the judge said flatly. You called your 13-year-old son stupid. Under what stress is that ever acceptable? Sienna didn't have an answer. Catherine went on. Dr. Taylor's psychological evaluation indicates narcissistic personality disorder, low empathy, and an inability to put the children's needs first. In contrast, Mr. Sinclair scored exceptionally high on every parental bonding metric, she added. What about the paternity issue? Judge Patterson asked. Harper is biologically the daughter of Preston Gallagher, Catherine replied. Mrs. Sinclair knowingly committed paternity fraud for 9 years. Despite that, Mr. Sinclair has chosen to remain Harper's father in every meaningful way. He is petitioning to adopt her and formalize what has always been true. He is her dad. The judge jotted down a few notes, then looked up at me. Mr. Sinclair, anything you'd like to add? I stood. Your Honor, I'm not here to punish their mother, I said. I'm here to protect my kids. They need stability, honesty, and a parent who always puts them first. I've done that their whole lives, and I intend to keep doing it. The judge nodded slowly. This court finds that the children's best interests are clearly served by granting full legal and physical custody to Everett Sinclair, he said. He turned to Sienna. Mrs. Sinclair, you will be allowed supervised visitation for a set number of hours per month until you can demonstrate genuine rehabilitation, not just attending therapy sessions, but real behavioral change verified by a court-appointed monitor. Sienna began to cry quietly. Her attorney, Mitchell, laid a hand on her shoulder. Furthermore, Judge Patterson continued, Mr. Sinclair is granted permission to pursue adoption of Harper. Mr. Gallagher's parental rights will be terminated on the grounds of fraud and abandonment. The gavel came down. This matter is concluded. Catherine turned to me and shook my hand. Congratulations, Everett. Your children are safe. Outside the courtroom, Nathan was waiting with Isaac and Harper. My daughter ran straight into my arms. Did we win, Daddy? Harper asked. Yes, sweetheart, I said. We won. Isaac hung back a little, more reserved. What happens to Mom? She'll still get to see you, I said, but only with supervision. You'll be living with me full time now. He nodded, the relief obvious on his face. Good. That evening, I cooked their favorite dinner again and let them pick the movie for family night. We ended up watching some animated film about dragons. Harper laughed at every gag, and Isaac tried to act like he was too old for it, but he was smiling the whole time. Normal, finally, wonderfully normal. After they were asleep, I went to my office and opened the digital vault one more time. I uploaded the last documents, the court order from Judge Patterson, and the adoption paperwork I had filed that afternoon. Someday, when they were 18, they'd open that vault and see the full story. But tonight, they were just kids who needed their dad. And I was exactly where I was meant to be. April arrived with warm air and cherry blossoms. Isaac made the varsity basketball team for the following year. Harper's artwork won a school competition. We adopted a golden retriever puppy and named him Murphy. He glued himself to Harper from the moment he padded through the door. One Saturday morning, I stood in the backyard watching Isaac teach Harper how to shoot free throws. Murphy barked and chased the ball every time it rolled away. You're getting better, Squirt, Isaac told her. Just keep your elbow in. Harper tried again. The ball slid through the net cleanly. She jumped up and down, ecstatic. My phone buzzed. A text from Nathan. Preston got 15 years. Diana got full custody. Everything's final, I replied. Good. How's Diana doing? He answered, better. She started a support group for fraud victims. She's helping other women avoid what happened to her. I smiled and put my phone away. Diana had turned her pain into something useful. I respected that. Elena appeared on the back porch with a tray of lemonade. Mr. Sinclair, the children need drinks, she said. Elena, I've told you 100 times. Call me Everett, I said. She smiled. Old habit, sir. Her testimony had been pivotal in court. Afterward, I gave her another raise and helped bring her mother from Guatemala legally. They lived in the guest house now, family in every way that actually mattered. That afternoon, we drove to my parents' house for Sunday dinner. Isaac and Harper ran ahead, straight into their grandparents' arms, where they were spoiled without restraint. My father pulled me aside. "Son, I'm proud of you," he said. "The way you handled all of this, protected those kids, kept your cool, that's real strength." "Thanks, Dad," I said. "I learned from the best." My mom hugged Harper tightly. "My beautiful granddaughter, did you bring me new artwork?" "Yes, Grandma," Harper said, pulling out pages from her backpack and showing off her prize-winning piece. Isaac sat with my brother, Scott, deep in conversation about basketball plays. It was a perfectly ordinary family Sunday. On the drive home, Harper asked from the back seat, "Daddy, are we going to be okay forever now?" I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "Yeah, sweetheart, we're going to be okay." "What about Mommy?" she asked softly. Sienna had finished 6 months of therapy by then. Her supervised visits were marginally improving, but the kids still kept their distance. She had lost pretty much everything: her influencer platform, her reputation, most of her social circle. Preston's legal mess ensured she got nothing from his assets. "Your mom is trying to get better," I said carefully. "That's between her and her therapist. What matters is that you and Isaac are safe and loved." Isaac, riding in the front seat, looked over at me. "Dad, I know I don't say it much," he said, "but thanks for everything." "You don't have to thank me, buddy," I told him. "Being your dad is the best thing I'll ever do." That night, after both kids were asleep, I sat on the back porch with Murphy stretched out at my feet. The house was quiet, peaceful. My phone buzzed, an email notification. The digital vault system confirming. Time lock verified. Content secured until Isaac Sinclair's 18th birthday, June 15th, 2030. 8 years from now, my son would open that vault and see the full truth. 3 years after that, Harper would too. But tonight, they were just children who'd survived a storm and come out stronger. I thought back to the night at Harborview. Sienna calling me ugly, walking out with another man, leaving me with the bill. I remembered the humiliation burning in my chest. Now, all I felt was gratitude. That was the night I stopped pretending and started truly protecting what mattered. Catherine Stone had called the week before to check in. "Everett, how are the kids?" she asked. "Thriving," I told her. "And me? Better than I've been in years." "Good," she said. "You deserve it. You're one of the good ones." Sitting on my porch, watching the stars come out, I realized she was right. Not because I'd won, but because I'd fought for the right reasons. Sienna tried to weaponize shame, convinced it would break me. Instead, I documented the truth, shielded my kids, and built something stronger out of the wreckage. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from Diana. "Thank you for everything. Preston's behind bars. My kids are healing. We're moving forward." I replied, "You did the hard part. Proud of you." Then I switched my phone off, went inside, checked on Isaac and Harper one more time, and went to bed. Tomorrow, Isaac had a basketball game. Harper had art class. I had a logistics meeting, ordinary, demanding, beautifully normal, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.